Welcome to my group's case study on Bye Bye and how they will be breaking even. So our team consisted of myself, I'm Eliza Lara, and my partners Mason Goldsmith and Matthew Chang. And together we brainstormed 3 different solutions and which one we believe is best for this company Bye Bye. So company Bye Bye is an airport shuttle company based out of Slovakia. They're a small local business and have approximately 60 employees. However, airport shuttle companies are a constant and reliable source of clients since runs are going 24/7 and people are always needing to get to the airport. However, this industry is not growing very fast. In the United States, it's growing at 1.5% per year, and we can assume the industry is growing at a similar rate in Slovakia. For Bye Bye, their major competitors are airport taxis and limousines. And currently, Bye Bye is just breaking even. The problem is that 92% of Bye Bye's employees are either high school or college students, so that means that they're not staying with the company for very long. Leaves them with a high turnover rate, and that in suit becomes a financial problem for the company. They're wasting lots of revenue on retraining their employees, and they're just breaking even with the current minimum wage, and they're going to lose money with the new minimum wage increase and the healthcare benefits. What we know about minimum wage and Bye Bye is that Bye Bye is a relatively small local airport shuttle company that owns 3 vehicles and 60 employees. It also means that, like other businesses such as Bye Bye, money is tight and there is not necessarily enough room for them to be making these kinds of raises to the new minimum wage level or other extra expenditures. Right now, Bye Bye is just surviving with the minimum wage they're paying. But we know that the new minimum wage is going to be increased in Slovakia, and Bye Bye does not have the room in their budget to be paying the new minimum wage. This means that Bye Bye is going to have to change something about their employment model, be that hiring less people, decreasing the hours, decreasing the number of shuttles. That's something that we believe we can help solve.
Alright, so some current company predictions for Bye Bye is that because of their current business model and how tight their budget is, when the minimum wage is increased under their current employment model, they will start to lose money. And we believe this just because they're currently, it's a small business, they're just barely breaking even and they don't have room for a wage increase. And some supporting evidence for this is that the revenue stream is unlikely to increase. It's pretty constant. The market that they're in is not growing fast, and Bye Bye is not increasing its market share in airport transportation, so it's not going to really increase revenue. Some other businesses that have some minimum wage issues. Here's just an example. The Wright Gardner is a landscaping paid by the hour small business in San Francisco. They pay approximately 25% of minimum wage, but they still need to up prices alongside a minimum wage increase. If they don't increase their wages, their job is less attractive and they won't be able to attract good employees. They've recently added mileage compensation and have started a 401k program. The addition of new sectors to the employment package means that more people will be willing to work for Wright Gardner. There's more pull factors for that job. They're also using different demographics so they retain workers and therefore they don't have to go through the high cost of training new employees and a high turnover. They've had to increase their service cost because they have to make up for all the money they're spending with the added benefits of mileage compensation and the 401k program, but they've had a small amount of customer pushback, so that is good for Wright Gardner. Our first solution is decreasing the amount of hours purchased by Bye Bye. To avoid layoffs and therefore a higher turnover rate, this solution will decrease the amount of hours of labor Bye Bye is purchasing to therefore decrease their labor costs. So instead of laying off a lot of employees, this method will just decrease the hours, and so you do, you know, you lose the added cost of firing employees and then having to hire new employees because obviously, as we said earlier in the presentation, training new laborers is something that is very expensive for this company. So how BuyBuy would implement this is just doing a self-analysis to see where labor and consequently money is being wasted. So we just need to analyze, they need to analyze, when less employees are needed. For example, if there's really early flights at the airport they're at, like a 5 a.m. flight, that's probably a little bit less busy, and so they don't need as many workers there, so they can buy less hours at that time. Another thing is the reasoning behind this is that this is going to combat the effects of minimum wage increasing because the company will be buying less hours of labor than it currently is, but will still be spending nearly the same amount of money on labor. So they're going to buy less hours, but the hours that they do buy will be more expensive. So hopefully they find that balance where it logistically makes sense, and they'll be able to save some money or spend the same amount of money even with the increased minimum wage. So a real world example for solution one, in a study about Seattle's minimum wage increase in 2015, by economists at the University of Washington, reducing hours was the most effective solution found by small businesses like BuyBuy that have a small margin for increasing minimum wage. So the pro of this solution is that BuyBuy will save money and maintain a profitable business model. On the other hand, cons are, as found in the Seattle research done by University of Washington, even though the minimum wage is higher, employees actually made an average of $125 less per month just because layoffs, and then companies that were using this solution one and buying less hours is going to lead to a smaller paycheck at the end of the month. Our second solution is increasing revenue. So with an increase in wages comes an increase in revenue. By increasing minimum wage, it gives consumers more money to spend on products such as airport shuttling. BuyBuy can look into contract work from hotels, companies, or tourist sites to shuttle to and from airports. This is just a way to expand their current business. This provides a more diversified, long-term, and more reliable sources of income. Another necessary part of this plan is more marketing to attract more customers through branding and a stronger web presence. And BuyBuy is in a tourist destination city, therefore customers will be majority tourists, so marketing to these people in particular is definitely very important. Our third solution is promote returning employees. So as we mentioned earlier, training is one of the major expenses, so solution 3 is targeting that. This is going to implement a system where they promote previous employees to come back and raise wages if they come back the next season. Money that would normally be used to train new employees can be put towards small wage increases for the returning employees. And BuyBuy is currently wasting a lot of money with how high their turnover rate, and they're constantly having to retrain new employees because most of their employees are students who are not going to be around for very long. So this new system would allow for employees to grow through the BuyBuy ladder and make a living off of this, and continue to get raises and things like that. An example of this is the Cohesive Tax, which hires seasonal staff leading up to tax season. They hire 2 interns, juniors and seniors in college, and 2 workers who have left other tax firms. They take the best of their interns and offer them jobs or a pay increase based on their year. And by offering the incentive for further promotion, small businesses will get a higher quality of work for their pay wage.
moving forward. We believe that moving forward, BuyBuy should implement solution number 3. We believe that it's the strongest of the solutions that we have presented to you, and this way it will eliminate BuyBuy's highest cost right now, which is training of new employees. Short term, it allows for current employees to come back to a local job, something that they're familiar with, something that they know they can advance in. Long term, it allows BuyBuy to pay the smallest amount possible for their highest cost, which is training. They need to train when they have new employees, but as more and more employees return, they can completely eliminate that, and they're able to afford things such as the new minimum wage increase, things such as healthcare benefit, and also the ability to increase pay for returning employees. Here is our color-coded research. I was navy, Matthew was red, and Mason was green. And here is our bibliography.